I'm Ava Harris, 34 years old, and as I stand here in my luxurious waterfront home on the shores of Miami, surrounded by friends and family, it's hard to believe how far I've come. The room is filled with laughter and celebration, but my mind drifts back to a time when my world was shattered. A few weeks ago, my father, who had been battling a long-term illness, finally mustered the courage to reach out. He invited me and my husband, Ethan, to a family gathering. I hesitated at first. The wounds from the past were still fresh, but I knew this might be my last chance for closure. When we arrived at my childhood home, a sense of dread washed over me. There, sitting in the living room, were my mother, Vivian, my sister, Bella, who is 2 years older than me, and her ex-boyfriend, Ryan, the man who was once the love of my life. The look on their faces when they saw me and Ethan was a mix of shock and discomfort. My mother, always the controlling one, quickly regained her composure and welcomed us with a tight-lipped smile. "You've done well for yourself, Ava," she said, her eyes scanning our expensive clothes. I simply nodded, not wanting to engage in her passive, aggressive remarks. As the evening progressed, the tension in the room was palpable. Ryan, looking sheepish, tried to make small talk with me. "You look amazing, Ava," he said. I gave him a cold stare. "Thanks, Ryan. I wish I could say the same about the choices you made." It was then that I decided to take a trip down memory lane. Growing up in a middle-class family in Chicago, our home seemed normal on the outside. But inside, it was a battlefield. My mother was a perfectionist, always pushing Bella to be the center of attention. Bella was the beautiful, popular one, the cheerleader and the homecoming queen. I, on the other hand, was the bookish one, spending hours in my room coding and reading. My mother never approved of my interests. "Computers are a waste of time, Ava. You should focus on finding a good husband like Bella," she would say. Every time I brought home an academic award, she would brush it off and talk about Bella's latest date or modeling gig. My father, Henry, was a quiet man. He worked long hours at a factory to support the family. He knew my mother's favoritism was wrong, but he never had the courage to stand up to her. Sometimes, he would sneak into my room at night and pat my shoulder, saying, "Your mother means well, Ava." But his eyes told a different story. I was determined to escape this toxic environment. When I won a national coding competition in my senior year of high school, I saw it as my ticket out. I applied to colleges across the country and was accepted into Stanford. My mother's only concern was that I was moving too far away. College was a breath of fresh air. I met Ethan during my freshman year. He was a brilliant computer science major with a kind heart. We quickly became friends, and then lovers. He supported my dreams and encouraged me to pursue my passion for technology. After graduation, Ethan and I started our own software company. It was a long and difficult journey, but we worked hard, and our company began to thrive. Meanwhile, I tried to keep my distance from my family. Every time I went home for the holidays, the same old arguments would ensue. My mother would criticize my career choices, and Bella would flaunt her latest boyfriend. One summer, I decided to introduce Ethan to my family. I hoped that they would finally see my worth through him. The visit started off well. My father seemed genuinely interested in Ethan's business, asking intelligent questions. My mother was overly polite, serving a fancy dinner. But Bella, as always, had other plans. She showed up late, wearing a revealing dress, and immediately started flirting with Ethan. She would touch his arm and laugh at his jokes a little too loudly. Ethan was polite, but he kept his focus on me. Over the next few months, things started to change. Ethan became distant. He would cancel our dates, saying he was busy with work. I was worried, but trusted him. One day, while scrolling through social media, I saw a picture of Bella and Ethan at a restaurant in our hometown. My heart sank. When I confronted Ethan, he stammered an excuse. "It was a business meeting, Ava. Bella just happened to be there." But I knew he was lying. I drove to my parents' house unannounced. There, in the living room, I found them together, my mother sitting nearby, encouraging them. My mother looked at me and said, "You're too focused on your career, Ava. Ethan needs someone who can support him at home, someone like Bella." I was speechless. I looked at Ethan, and he just looked away, unable to meet my eyes. I left that day, my heart broken. I couldn't believe that the people I loved the most had betrayed me. I threw myself into my work, determined to prove them wrong. With Ethan's departure, I focused on growing our company on my own. It was tough, but I persevered. Years passed, and I met Ethan again. He was a different person. He apologized for his actions, saying that my mother had manipulated him. He told me that he had been in a bad place, and my mother had convinced him that Bella was a better match for him. My sister, Bella, also had a change of heart. She realized that she had been living in my mother's shadow and that she had made a big mistake. She apologized to me and said she wanted to start over. As I stood there in my childhood home, looking at the people who had once hurt me so deeply, I felt a sense of peace. I had moved on. I had built a wonderful life with Ethan, and we had a beautiful daughter, Lily. My father, on his deathbed, took my hand and said, "I'm sorry, Ava. I should have protected you. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive us." I leaned over and kissed his forehead. "It's okay, Dad. I've already forgiven you. Life has a funny way of working out. The betrayal that once nearly destroyed me has made me stronger. I've learned that the only person who can truly define my worth is me. And as I look around at my family, I know that there is always hope for healing and reconciliation."